I remember the first time I set foot in the sprawling grounds of the boarding school, nestled in the heart of lush green hills. The sun was setting, casting a golden hue over the old stone buildings, and I felt a mix of excitement and apprehension. I was just a fresh-faced student, eager to learn, but little did I know that the true lessons would come from the most unexpected teacher, the principal, Pastor Godwill. Pastor Godwill was a man of contradictions. By day, he wore the robes of a spiritual leader, guiding us with sermons that spoke of morality, integrity, and the importance of education. But as night fell, the shadows revealed another side of him, a principal who often sought solace at the bottom of a bottle. It was whispered among the students that the weight of his responsibilities and the scars of his past drove him to drink. One evening, after a particularly stirring chapel service, I found myself wandering the grounds, drawn to the sound of laughter that emerged from the teacher's quarters. Curiosity piqued. I approached and peeked through a cracked window. There was Pastor Godwill, a glass in hand, laughing heartily with the staff. His jovial demeanor was infectious, but I noticed how his laughter was increasingly punctuated by slurred speech and unsteady movements. As days turned into weeks, the pattern became obvious. The principal would deliver impassioned sermons in the morning, but by dusk, he was often stumbling through the halls, a shadow of his former self. I felt a pang of sorrow for him. How could a man so devoted to his faith lose himself in drink? It was a mystery I was determined to unravel. Then came the fateful night of the Harvest Festival, a celebration that brought the entire school together. The air was thick with excitement, and the aroma of traditional foods wafted through the campus. Yet I noticed Pastor Godwill had disappeared just before his speech. Concerned, I set out to find him, my heart racing with a mix of dread and determination. I followed the sound of muffled voices to a secluded garden where I found him sitting on a bench, a half-empty bottle beside him. He was talking to himself, tears streaming down his face as he reminisced about his late wife, a woman known for her unwavering faith and support. It was in that moment I realized the true depth of his pain. The burden of loss had driven him to seek comfort in the bottle, and it was a battle he fought alone. Pastor, I called softly, stepping into the moonlight. His head snapped up, surprise flickering across his face. You don't have to bear this alone. He looked at me, his eyes reflecting a mixture of shame and gratitude. What do you know of suffering, child? He replied, his voice thick with emotion. I may not know your pain, but I see it, I said, my heart pounding. You've taught us to be strong, to rise above our struggles. Let us help you. That night, I didn't just see a man drowning in sorrow. I saw a leader in need of a guiding hand. I gathered a group of students, and together we devised a plan. We would organize a special prayer meeting, not just for our studies, but for Pastor Godwill's healing. It was a bold move, but we believed in the power of community and prayer. The following week, we invited everyone, students, staff, and even parents, to gather in the chapel. The atmosphere was electric with anticipation as we lit candles and shared stories of hope. When Pastor Godwill walked in, surprise painted his features. He stood at the back, unsure of what to do, but the warmth of our collective spirit drew him forward. As we prayed, I could see the walls around his heart begin to crumble. Tears streamed down his cheeks, and for the first time in a long while, he seemed to remember the joy of his faith. That night, we didn't just pray for his redemption, we prayed for ours too. We learned that sometimes the greatest act of courage is to admit when you're lost. Weeks turned into months, and with our support, Pastor Godwill began to reclaim his life. He attended counseling, and slowly he turned his back on the bottle. The transformation was remarkable. The laughter returned to his sermons, but now it was accompanied by a deeper understanding of grace and forgiveness. As I look back on those days at the boarding school, I realized that the story of Pastor Godwill was not just about a principal who struggled with alcohol. It was a journey of redemption, resilience, and the strength of community. He taught us that even the strongest among us can falter, but with love and support, we can rise again, transformed and renewed. And so, my time at the boarding school became more than just an education. It was a testament to the power of compassion, the importance of community, and the undeniable truth that we are all connected by our shared struggles and triumphs.